Hey there, YouTube. This is Snowy Snowy again. Sorry I haven't been uploading anything in the past week or so. It's been a little more crazy than I thought. Finals took up a little more time than I thought I would. Probably because I didn't think I would study, because I never study, but I actually did end up doing so this time. And, well, this week it's been mostly me just trying to get some last minute Christmas presents in for my family and stuff. So I have been a little busy because I'm making my presents handmade this year. But I have pre-recorded a few episodes of like Snow in Salem and stuff. Just you know, I just haven't had enough time to edit them and put them on YouTube and stuff. But I am recording this on the 18th. I'm going to probably upload this episode on the 19th, tomorrow, my birthday. And, yeah, so that's it. Alright, let's dive back into the game. By the time we get back to Miyama City, it's already past 9 o'clock. Unlike Shinto, Miyami City is an old residential district. No one walks around after 9, and the town grows as quiet as midnight.
こんなところね。町の作りは大体わかった？
ああ、町のことならわかる。あとはおいおい掴んでいくさ。
なら今日はここまでね。私もまだ本調子じゃないし、家に戻って休みましょう。
We climb the road up the gentle hill, and there's someone walking in front of us.
あれ、さくら？
This is bad. I don't want to see her right now.
リン、何を隠れている？
Good question.
黙ってて。あそこにいるの知り合いなのよ。
Of course. Excuses. It's always excuses with you, Rin. As I speak, I look at the figure ahead of us. On the road, there's the well-known first-year student and a foreigner I don't know. He's a foreigner I know, though. Probably a foreigner that any Fate fan knows. They're talking about something. No, it seems the foreigner is talking to Sakura against her wishes.
リン、知り合いとは？
いいえ、知らない。この辺りは洋館が多いから。
I say that much, then scold myself for being too soft when the girl is involved.
あ、じゃあ。
さあ、実態はあるから人間なのだろう。
そうよね。マスターでもないし。
Still, I know she's not the kind of girl to get into trouble with a guy.
二人とも言ったな。女は坂を登っていく。男は。
The blonde guy goes down the road we came up.
それじゃああなたはここを使って。私はもう眠るけど。
とりわけ重要な疑問はない。すぐに戦闘を仕掛けない君の判断はただ。
ええ。それじゃあ明日、今朝の紅茶をよろしくね。
Fatigue hits me hard once I walk into my room.
そうだ。眠る前にきれいに連絡しないと。
That annoying priest. He'll always be getting ready to call. He'll already be ready to call in the substitute magus. I don't really care about that, but he is my guardian, so I should at least do the right thing. Like, does it need a substitute? I thought the Grail had already predetermined and picked people, so... I don't know. Then why didn't Shirou get a substitute? Another question.
電話と。
I dial the number. And soon the fake priest picks up.
きれい？私だけど、昨日サーバントと契約したから。
A brief silence. Kirei's silence has enough pressure to stress you out even over the phone.
いいだろう。ではどうする？一度こちらに顔を出さないか？
ああ、それって父さんの遺言のこと？それならもう解読して手に入れたからいいわ。
待てリン、マスターになったのなら。
I hang up, not hearing him out. Listening to Kirei's voice lecture me while I'm tired won't help me recover my magical energy.
さて、これで準備は終わりっと。
All that's left is to sleep. When I wake up next, it should be a completely different morning. 10 years ago. The Holy Grail in which my father completed as a master and was defeated. Now I'm entering the same battle. February 2nd. So, after breakfast, I clearly explained my immediate plans.
何？学校に行くだと？
ええ、何か問題あるかしら？
問題はないが、しかし、それは。
Archer hesitates, but does not object. He must have realized yesterday that I'm not the type to take back my decisions. I can kind of tell him without saying so. Archer is sarcastic, but he has an honest side to him, so it seems he won't complain about something he's accepted. Yes, in other words, he's faithful in an awkward kind of way. I guess that's an accurate way to describe him. This is my conclusion. No more of an intrusion after No, more of an intuition after watching Archer for all of yesterday.
リン、マスターになったからには常に敵マスターを警戒しなくてはならない。
そんなことはないけどね。いいあーちゃん、私はマスターになったからって今までの生活を変える気はないわ。それにマスター同士の戦いは人目を避けるものでしょ。それなら。
そうか、リンがそう決めたのなら。だが霊体化して君の護衛をするぐらいはいいのだろうな。
当たり前じゃない。学校に限らず外に出るときはそばにいてもらうからね。マスターを守るのも。
それを聞いて安心した。信頼に応えるのは騎士の務め。せいぜいだがリン、もしもの話だが、その安全な場所に敵がいたとしたら。
何？学校にマスターがいるかもしれないってかて？
そうだ。確かに学び屋には生徒と教師以外は入りにくいが、すでに内部の者がマスター。
それはないんじゃないかな。この町には魔術師の家系は遠坂とあと一つしかないの。そのあと一つ。
マスターになっていないと。
あのね、うち以外に魔術師の家系がいるんなら真っ先に確かめるのは当然でしょ。
Guess so.
そいつマスターにはなってなかったし、あっちの家系の後継者にはマスターになるだけの魔力がないから無視して構わないわ。
I would say something in reply to this, but it would be spoilers.
つまり、リンの通う学校にはもう一人魔術師がいるのだな。
そういうこと。だから他のマスターは外からやってくる連。
まあ今のだがリン、何事にも例外は存在する。もし学校に。
だからいないってば。魔術師っていうのは他の同業に敏感なの。1年も同じ学校にいたらね、どんなに隠してても魔術師の存在は感じ取れる。
Just remember you said that, Ring. Don't say Archer didn't warn ya.
断言するけど、うちの学校に魔術師は2人しかいないわ。そのうちの1人が私で、もう1人はマスターになるだけの力がない魔術師見習いなの。
Everyone remember she said this.
アーチャーの用心はただの杞憂よ。
She will
そんなこ
eat
と絶対
her
にありえないん
words.
だから。
だからもしもの話だ。物事には常に裏目が存
I
在
mean,
する。
cause come on, this takes place in a high school setting. There's got to be other mages there.
本来ありえざることが起こるのも、もしそういった事態になった場合、 私に八つ当たりをするのだけは。
Okay, sorry. Cut off again. A hypothetical is a hypothetical because it won't happen. If it does, it just means my analysis was too shallow.
よし、確かに聞いたぞ。君の学び屋まで30分。そろそろ出なければ間に合わない時間帯だ。
驚いた。もしもの話って本当にあるのね。
ああ、私も驚いている。いや、何事もケチをつけておくものだな。思わぬところで役に立った。
As soon as we pass the school's main gate, we joke around like that. Around us are students heading to classrooms, and it's almost time for homeroom. In the crowd of people rushing into the school building, we stand dumbfounded.
空気がよどんでるどころの話じゃない。これ
完全にではないが、すでに準備は始まっているようだな。ここまで派手にやっているということは。
とんでもない素人ね。異常を感じさせる結界なんて三流だもの。やるんなら仕掛ける時まで隠し通しておくのが一流よ。
で、君はどちらだと思う？
さあ、一流だろうが三流だろうが知ったことじゃないわ。私のテリトリーでこんなゲスなもの仕掛けたやつなんて問答無用でぶっ倒すだけよ。
I walk angrily through the schoolyard. As a magus, I'm not about to mince words, but I can't be satisfied until I properly punish the creator of this boundary field. After second period, while walking back from the music room, I see a first year walking unsteadily. The student is carrying some stack of papers and it looks like she's having trouble.
手伝うわ、さくら。
Oh.
登坂先輩。
A senpai and her kohai.
何、プリント？世界史って言ったらうちの担任じゃない。クズキのやつ。あ、はい。ありがとうございます、先輩。いいっていいって。それじゃこれ、さくらのクラスまで？クズキ先生のところです。誤字があったから回収するって言ってました。納得。クズキは融通きかないからね。一つ誤字があったぐらいで試験を中止させるやつだった。
Like my teachers, if that ever happens, they're just like, oh yeah, that was a misread, just correct it on your paper or whatever. I don't care.
試験って、そう。あれは去年の中間試験だったかな。みんながガーッとマークシートを塗りつぶしてる時にやってきてね。誤字があるので正しい問題ではなかった。よって試験は中止。なんか、くずき先生らしいですね、それ。くずきのは度が過ぎてるけどね。さくらもそのうち思い知るわよ。くずきの堅物。登坂先輩、くずき先生のことが好きなんですね。そう？まあ、確かにくずきはもうちょっと柔軟性があればなって思うけど。
I think that, but I also think he's not bad this way. At our school, there's a teacher liked by all students and a teacher feared by all students. The balance between the two works so well that I think Kuzuki-sensei is a good disciplinarian. He's the stick in the carrot and stick approach. Is the stick in the carrot and stick approach? What? What's that even mean? If anybody knows what that means, can you tell me? Stick in the carrot and stick approach.
まあ、2年になればもっとくずきと顔を合わせるようになるわ。そんなことよりさくら、ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだけど。昨日の話なんだけど、さくら、見かけない外国人と話してなかった？見てたんですか、先輩。
Admitting to her stalking?
たまたま。それであれ何だったの？いいえ、それがよくわからない人だったんです。 の人道に迷ってたみたいでした。いろいろ聞いてくるんだけど何を言ってるのか聞き取れなくて、その
And so she ran away. And that was an obvious lie.
ごめんなさい。少しだけ気になったから。いえ、構いません。その、ここまででいいです先輩。あとは届けるだけですから。そう？
I pass the handouts back to Sakura. As I start to head back to the classroom, I pause.
さくら、最近はどう？はい、大丈夫。元気です。私。
Heartwarming. Almost as heartwarming as that moment in Carnival Phantasm with Airi and Ilia and Kiritsugu. Oh my god, that was amazing.
そう。シンジがまた何かやったら言いなさい。あいつはどってものを知らないから。黙っていると悪化する一方よ。心配いりませんよ先輩。兄さん、この頃は優しいんですから。
If she says that with such a smile, I can't say anything else. I bid her goodbye once more and turn my back on the familiar junior. The day ends. Students leave the classroom and the building gets darker by the second. The sun will set soon. When the red sun sets and night falls, there should be no one left in the school.
始めるわよ、あーちゃん。まずは結界の下調べ。どんな結界かを調べてから消すか残すか決めましょう。
I address my invisible partner. Archer must understand as I sense him nodding. A boundary field is something that protects its cast. A boundary field is something that protects its caster. You could call it geographical magic, in which one knits a line of magic across the land to change the interior. Infinite different effects are possible within a boundary field. There are all sorts of boundary fields, from ones that conceal the area from people's eyes to ones that limit the use of magic within them. The most aggressive of all are those that oppress life forms within them. The boundary field laid out over the school is that kind of field. It's not yet complete, but once it is, everyone in the school should fall unconscious. But something like this won't affect me. After all, a boundary field is something targeted not at me, but at the place I am in. Such an indirect magical energy inversion has no effect on magi, who have magical energy throughout their bodies. A weak current flowing through the air will only be repelled by a strong current like myself. So this boundary field has a different intention. I don't know what kind of person set up this boundary field, but his intention is not to defeat a master. It's hard to believe, but his target is even everyone in the school. There's only one reason to do something like that. Unbelievably, this guy is... I search the school building and emerge onto the rooftop to finish. It's dark outside. It's 8 o'clock now, way past the school closing time, which is at 6. The only people still in the school are me and Archer.
これで7つ目か。とりあえずここが起点みたいね。
A 7-stroke mark is openly drawn onto the rooftop. This purplish red character, only visible to magi, is something I've never been able to see before, engraved with something unknown.
参ったな。
The person who set up the boundary field didn't think about anything. He didn't think, but the boundary field is bounded with amazing skill. I can temporarily drain magical energy from this boundary field, but I cannot eliminate the boundary field itself. The boundary field can be reactivated just by having the caster put more magical energy into it. Archer says nothing. He's been quiet ever since we came onto the rooftop, probably because he too recognizes the power of this boundary field. The boundary field doesn't just drain one's strength. Once activated, it will literally dissolve all the people within it. There are boundary fields that drain physical and mental strength from the people within them, but the boundary field laid out over the school is on a completely different level. This is a soul eater. It's a blood fort that dissolves. Man, I was on such a roll and I just screwed that one up. This is a soul eater. It's a blood fort that dissolves people within it and claims the souls that seep out. Since ancient times, souls have been hard to handle. Even though they're believed to exist and are necessary for magic, only one magus has ever understood the soul. Souls are only things to be investigated, or things to be moved into containers. It's incomprehensible not merely to suck them out, but also to collect them into a single place. It's because a magus has no use for them, even if one were to collect his unconvertible energy. So if there's a reason, it must be...
あーちゃん、あなたたちってそういうもの？
I asked coldly.
ご推察の通りだ。我々は基本的に霊体だと言っただろう。君たちが肉を栄養とするように、サーバントは精神と魂を栄養とする。栄養を取ったところで基本的な能力は変わらないが、取り入れれば取り入れるほどタフになる。つまり魔力の貯蔵量が上がっていくというわけだ。
To strengthen your servant, you must attack people indiscriminately.
マスターから提供される魔力だけじゃ足りな
くはないが、大いに越したことはない。実力が劣る場合、弱点を武士で補うのが戦争だろ。周囲の人間からエネルギーを奪うのはマスターとしては基本的な戦略だ。そういった意味で言えば、
Archer is saying that as if I want to win. I should kill people and steal their strength. How simple. I already knew that. That's why I think I know the path I'm going to choose.
それ、勘に触るわ。二度と口にしないで。
I say so while staring at the mark on the ground. For some reason, Archer sounds happy as he confidently
私も真似を
answers.
するつもりはない。
さて、それじゃ消そうか。
I approach the mark engraved on the ground and extend my left arm. The magic crest on my left arm is the Book of Magic passed down the Tohsaka family. I switch to my sense. I push magical energy into my magic crest, read the part that explains the elimination of boundary fields, and now all I have to do is activate it. Eliminate surgical extraction. Second section. I touch the ground with my left hand and let my magical energy flow out. This will at least wash the color off this mark, but...
なんだよ、消しちまうのか?
Suddenly, as if to stop the ensure of a boundary field, a voice echoes over. Ensure, erasure of the boundary field, a voice echoes over. I quickly stand up and turn around. Yay! Lancer in his ungodly jumpsuit or whatever the hell that is. In the blue spandex. I quickly stand up and turn around. On top of the water tower. In the sky, 10 meters away, a guy is looking down at me. Deep ultramarine that melts into the night. His green is wild and bestial smell carries on the wind. The stare of a beast is a cold one. A man in blue looks at me like an old friend. Even this situation.
これ、あなたの仕業？
いや、小細工を浪するのは魔術師の役割だ。俺
Casual, but his voice is filled with murderous intent. This guy can see Archer.
やっぱりサーバント。
そうとも。ね。
My spine freezes. A normal light tone of voice. It's colder than anything I've ever heard. It's scary enough to make me vomit. Huh. Okay. I can't tell how I should move or what my best course is. But my reason is telling me absolutely not to fight this man right here. You don't fight
大
servants
したもんだ。
unless you're Kuzuki.
何もわからねえようで要点は抑えてやがる。ああ、失敗したなこりゃ。
This man raises his arm. It happens in an instant. The arm that holding nothing until now. Sasuke Bulge! Now holds a red weapon, 2 meters long. I jump to the side without thinking. I can't spare the time to consider that I can't jump out. I can't spare the time to consider that I can't jump full force while on a rooftop. I just jump with full force to the side as if trying to smash the fence. A whirlwind brushes past my hair. Barely made it. He rushed me in an eye blink and mercilessly slashed at the space I just occupied.
いい足してるな。
The blue whirlwind pursues me. There are no escapes. The fence is behind me. To my sides, now I won't make it. My response is fast. I run the magic crest on my left arm and assemble the magic in a single measure. It lightens my body and adjusts gravity. In an instant, my body becomes light as a feather and I leap. I jump over the fence and fall from the rooftop. The wind and pressure push against my body. 15 meters to the ground. 1.7 seconds until landing. If it's too slow, he'll catch up. I let Archer take the impact of landing and start to run as soon as my feet touch the ground. First, I have to change location. We have to go somewhere we can move around freely, not a small place like a rooftop. We have to move into a large field with no obstacles to play to Archer's and my strengths. I run from the rooftop to the school grounds in less than 7 seconds. That's fast. Nice. It's more than 100 meters. My spread is so fast that normal people would see only a blur. But that's...
いや、本気でいい足だ。
meaningless against a servant. At the moment I step back, Archer steps in front, taking form. A cloudy night. In Archer's hand is this short sword that reflects the weak moonlight.
へえ。
The man crooks his mouth.
いいね。そう来なくっちゃ。話が早いやつは嫌いじゃない。
A large whirlwind. That's the weapon swung at me from the rooftop. The red blood crimson lance that tried to mercilessly slaughter me. Blood red crimson lance. Okay, if you're gonna say blood red, the crimson is kind of unnecessary. It's either blood red or crimson. It just seems unnecessary to say both. Ugh, whatever.
いかにも、そういうあんたのサーバントはセイバー。って感じじゃねえな。何者だ、てめえ。
How can you tell? I mean, I can see why you would have thought it was Saber, but then why would you all of a sudden like, oh wait, no, he's not? Was there any indication otherwise? Or do all people have a magical book in their brain that tells them what a servant's class is? In response to Lancer, full of murderous intent, Archer remains silent. The distance between the two is about 5 meters. The weapon in Lancer's hand is about 2 meters. For that man with the bestial smell, I feel like the remaining 3 meters is meaningless.
まっとうな一騎打ちをするタイプじゃねえな、てめえは。
The writing in this visual novel is so hilariously bad. Archer doesn't respond to the sneering voice either. Confronting each other, strangely, are red and blue. The two counterfeit colored knights are already watching for the other's clinched blow.
好みじゃねえが、出会ったからにはやるだけだ。これでも礼はわきまえているからな。
Archer does not respond. There's nothing to say to an enemy he must defeat. The steel black of his seems to declare so. The steel back of his seems to declare so. I'm just tripping over my own words every single time I decide to play this game. I'm so sorry. That makes me realize I'm being stupid. Archer is waiting for my word, my command.
Archer,
I talk to his back without approaching him.
手助けはしないわ。あなたの力、ここで見せて。
Was that a laugh? He grins as if to answer my words, and the Red Knight dashes forward. Twirling gusts of wind. Short sword in hand, the red bullet launches. What meets him is a blue spear thrust. If the dashing archer is the raging wind, the responding spearhead is the divine wind. The sword is swung, a swing to deflect the thrust. Archer parries the thrust of a high-speed lance with his short sword. The one in red stops. The enemy did not permit Archer's rush. The enemy didn't even let him get within 2 meters the range of the spear. For a long weapon, distance is always preferred. As Lancer has a weapon almost 2 meters long, he only needs to attack when the enemy comes into his range. Thrusting at an approaching enemy is easier than moving out yourself. But even so, Lancer comes and closes the distance himself and doesn't even allow Archer to move forward. He's a very unorthodox archer, and his temper is like a burning fire. Lancer closes in with each blow, with no thought of stopping. With a long weapon, it's suicidal to close in on an enemy. The spearman's tactic is to use a long range to defeat the enemy and win the battle. So, as Lancer is just advancing unchecked, he doesn't leave a chance of winning. But that's just by the book. Lancer's lance shows no vulnerabilities as it strikes for the throat, shoulders, forehead, and heart. Thrusts so fast even the after images are blurred. As each strike of his lance repels, rebuffs, and pushes back on Archer, any of his thrusts could be called a final blow. But even as a bowman, Archer is a servant. No ordinary attack can be a final blow. Having repelled the lance aimed for the forehead, Archer closes in with speed superior to Lancer's lance. Lancer's lance, Lancer's lance. Try saying that 10 times fast. Based on its shape, you might think that the main attack of a lance is a thrust, but the basic strength of a lance is its swings. This is because a wide swing using its long range does not allow the enemy to dodge it by stepping back. A partial retreat does not allow escape, and an attempt to counterattack will only result in a slashed stomach. But simply going forward will end up in a smashed rib from the long shaft of the lance. Archer and Lancer are simply built. Or similarly built. On top of that, it's hard for Archer with no heavy armor to step into range of a lance swung like a whirlwind. I don't really think they're similarly built. Lancer seems a lot, I don't know, more lean? I don't know. But thrusts are a different story. A blazing fast thrust, certain to strike you, is certainly scary. But as long as the attack targets a point, there are many ways to avoid it once you see it. As Archer did just then, hitting the shaft of the approaching lance to redirect it slightly creates an opening. It must be because he underestimated a bowman. The advantage of a long weapon is in its length and the freedom of its range. Once Lancer has discarded these advantages himself, his defeat is... The one in red stops. A nightmare-like time is reversing. The thrust is faster than the previous ones. Archer tries to parry the blow, but he gets flicked away along with his weapon. There are no openings in Lancer's attack. No, not just that, the thrusts increase in speed and power without limit and becomes a final blow even for a servant. We were the ones that underestimated him. For that servant, for Lancer's weapon, there are no general rules about lances. Who could ever parry continuous attacks without even a space to breathe between them? Archer manages to retreat a bit and parries, and as a result, the distance between them opens a little. That distance. Lancer uses that distance as a runway to launch an even more powerful attack. The range and continuous attack is only a repetition of that. The blows themselves are godlike. 10 blows already. Now I must admit it's actually be many times more than that. Figurating the lance pours in more strength, trying to skewer Archer to death. Is there any other way to skewer a man? It's not fast, but it's just skill. It's thrust like a waterfall, with no change in speed. What can Archer do, as he is now on the defensive? With such a short sword, he can only parry the lance. He has no way to close in on Archer, and he continues to retreat. Vacuum of steel unfolds. Support, I have to back Archer up, but my throat won't respond. My magic has poor aim. Unless Archer gets away from Lancer, I'll hit him with my magic as well. Such an opening would only increase Lancer's advantage. And besides, frankly, I'm captivated. This is a battle between servants. This is the Holy Grail War itself, where we use heroic spirits, the highest rank of familiar whom we could never otherwise obtain. Servants. Familiars of different classes that obey the 7 masters. 7 highest ranked familiars called heroic spirits that the Holy Grail summons. So it's misleading to call them familiars. Originally, familiars were just beings that ran errands for magus. Imagine perhaps a cat in boots, or a cute white bird, or a black dog that doesn't obey its master, or something like that. Familiars that were magus. Familiars that a mere magus can summon are of that level. Familiars are just familiars. They are only mascots that run errands for their masters, so they cannot be beings stronger than their masters. But servants are different. They are the most powerful beings. Even for sorcerers, of which there are only 5 in this world, it could possibly be impossible to form a contract with them. Only 5 sorcerers. Interesting. Huh. I wonder what qualifies as a sorcerer in this world. Wonder who these sorcerers are. It's not that the summoning is hard, or even that the ability of the servant surpasses that of the magus. Servants themselves are beings above magic. Saber. I'll make it clear. Servants are heroes from the past. Myth, legend, fable, history. Fiction or not, the supreme beings who gained concrete existence in folklore are what we call heroes. A hero that becomes eternal in people's minds is no longer a human after their death and is promoted to another form of existence. Humans who bring about miracles, save people, and achieve great deeds are called heroes even after their death. After being so called, they are promoted to heroic spirits after their death and become guardians of humanity. It doesn't matter whether those people exist in reality or in stories. It is people's minds that creates a hero. People's wishes that this is how things should be, give them form, and set them up as real. Authenticity does not matter. They can have form as long as they have fame as a legend and people have faith. The ultimate ideal humans have created, the greatest human people have created. These are heroes, the heroic spirits. And of course, since they are beyond human, they cannot be controlled by humans. Magus usually borrows their power only to mimic them. They can't summon the heroic spirits themselves. But the Holy Grail made that impossibility into reality. It summons the heroic spirit beyond human control and turns it into a familiar obedient to the master. That nonsense is proof that the Holy Grail is almighty. And with the passing of years ignored, the heroic spirits are summoned. The most recent from the 100 years ago, the oldest from the ancient days. The 7 heroic spirits obey each of their 7 masters, protect them, and eliminate the masters of the enemy. Heroes from every Asian country are revived into the present day to kill one another for supremacy. That is why the ritual is called the Holy Grail War. But it seems the Holy Grail has its limits too. Even the Holy Grail cannot indiscriminately call unto the spirit-like beings. Just as a form inverted by humans is required for the imaginary 6th element, known as the devil, to take form, the heroic spirits also need to take form to live in this world. Their form is a temporary name, and their form is their temporary name and the way they exist in this world. The Holy Grail has furnished classes so that heroic spirits may take form more easily. It only summons the heroic spirits that match these classes. It's like a passport to the present as it sets up a role as a familiar in advance. By allowing the summoned heroic spirit to take on that role, it helps the spirit take form. 7 masters chosen by the Holy Grail. There are also 7 heroic spirits. Even 7 furnished classes. Saber. Knight of the Sword. Saber. Knight of the Lance. Lancer. Knight of the Bow. Archer. Mounted Soldier. Rider. Magus. Caster. Silent Killer. Assassin. Mad Warrior. Berserker. All of the heroic spirits with attributes of these classes are summoned to the present to obey the master and become a servant. That is the servant system, a summoning and contract with a heroic spirit beyond human control to win the miracle beyond human grasp. The ultimate competition held only on this ground, the one and the only Holy Grail War. A loud crash. The short sword that deflected Lancer's lance flies from Archer's hand. This is Lancer's technique. A straight thrust that turns into a sweep at Archer's wrist. It was a blow Archer could not avoid, even had he seen it coming. There is no effective way of parrying a lance with a sword. A strong rebuff only results in a stronger counterattack, and a weak rebuff does not create any openings. The important aspect of the battle between a sword and a lance lies in defeating the enemy when he is at the wrong range. There is no hesitation in Lancer. His movement to push Archer back stops. He must intend to end the match in a single instant. The stares of the firmly placed Lancer and the swordless Archer clash. In that instant, the lance is thrust just like a flash of light. I can't even be seen. Forehead, neck, the heart. 3 shots are launched, any one a fatal blow. But the flash, too fast to be seen, is repelled by a shining blade. In Archer's hand is the short sword again. A sword like before, a Chinese sword with a hatchet. But its biggest difference is a pair of swords. In his hands are matched swords, mirror images of each other. Lancer's lance flies. Sweet, love this picture. As if to finish Archer off, the lance moves faster and faster. Archer defends with a burning spirit. His hawk-like eyes say that he will not retreat anymore. No, that he will only advance from now on. The clashing sounds are like well-orchestrated music. two steels clanging against each other. The sparkling clashes increase in rhythm without pause. The battle of the two is like a vacuum. It sucks the air around them, and it seems like everything approaching them would be cut to pieces. In reality, it only lasts an instant, but for me, looking on, it seemed to take an infinitely long time. Lancer tries not to let Archer near him, while Archer advances using his sword as a shield. Over 100 blows have been thrown, and Archer loses a sword every time. But it's only for a moment, as Archer has a sword in his hand the next instant, forcing Lancer back a little each time. Lancer finally admits his carelessness. That even though he doesn't know who is before him, he will be a loser if he dismisses him as a mere bowman. The distance widens. Probably to recover, Lancer puts a large distance between them. His speed is extraordinary. Archer's charge was out of this world, and it was slow compared to Lancer. The movement of his retreat had panther-like speed and agility.
27. それだけ弾き飛ばしてもまだあるとはな。
Lancer mutters in irritation. No, it's more like confusion. I feel the same way. According to Father, a servant carries only one weapon. The weapon is filled with magical energy, so it's not something that can be created one after another, like Archer was doing just now. Servants are heroes that sublimate their spirits after death, equaling the holy spirits. To put it another way, they're like devils or angels. They are powerful familiars on their own, but their most powerful weapon is their proof of heroism, a magical item called their noble phantasm. A noble phantasm is a weapon or armor that the servant uses when they were a hero, and it's treated as a last resort. The noble phantasm is the one and only weapon for a servant. This is because the noble phantasm is an ultimate weapon without equal. The lance that Lancer is using will show its power as a noble phantasm when Lancer deems it necessary. A noble phantasm is an impressive weapon by itself, but its true ability is to release all its power using its true name. Heroes' weapons which rule over others and have killed dragons and gods. Servants activate their noble phantasms using their magical energy. It's much like magic. Servants, you create the destructions and legends using their weapon as a catalyst. These weapons were never disposable. The weapons that Archer brought out must be excellent, but they cannot be his noble phantasm. So he is the servant Archer. So the noble phantasm he conceals must be a bow.
どうしたランサー様子見とは君らしくないな。
ち、タヌキが減らず口を叩きやがるか。
Someone's a little butthurt right now. Anyways, we've been going on for a while, but I want to get to a certain point. Nah, I think I'll stop right now. I'll stop right now because I want, maybe I'll finish this up in the next episode. Yeah, I'll finish this. I think the prologue should be finished up in the next episode, if not the one after that. Otherwise I would have liked to get to a certain person being stabbed by today, but that'll probably be next episode. I'll see you guys some other time. If I don't post another video before the holidays, well, happy holidays! Alright. Bye, guys!